Hi guys, good morning. We are learning about daffodils. We learned two stanzas of the poem Daffodils. Let us remember it. In the first stanza, the poet William Wordsworth tells that I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats high over vales and hills. The poet was telling that he was wandering in a lonely state of his mind. At that time, he saw a host of golden daffodils beside the lake beneath the trees, and the daffodils were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. And also, he tells that the daffodils were continuous in manner as the stars that shine and twinkle in the Milky Way. And also they were stretched in a never-ending line. The daffodils were stretched in a never-ending line along the margin of a bay, making a margin along the bay of the lake. And they were 10,000 at a glance. He was able to see. That means, according to the poet, the daffodils were 10,000 at a glance, means they were unlimited in number, innumerable in number, and they were tossing their heads in sprightly dance. At the time of dancing lively, dancing sprightly, they were tossing their heads to each other. We have learned these two stanzas. Now we are starting the third stanza. And in the third stanza, the poet tells that the waves beside them danced. That means, look at this side. If it is the lake, these are the daffodils making a margin. These are the daffodils. Okay. And these daffodils are making a margin along the bay of this lake. So, in the lake water, according to the poet, the waves on the lake water danced. He tells that the waves beside them, means the waves are in the lake and they are beside the daffodils, by the side of the daffodils, and the waves beside the daffodils danced. Look guys, one more thing I like to tell you that all the matters, all the things, all the happenings, all the descriptions in the poem are imaginary, because it is only the feelings and emotions. The poet can describe a matter as you want, however he like. Just take one thing, the leaves of the trees are shaking. We, the common people, see this and tell that the leaves are shaking. Or one more thing we can say that The wind is blowing, that's why the leaves are shaking. But a poet can understand another meaning, take another thinking, and describe it differently. He can tell, no, no, the wind is not blowing, the leaves are not shaking, the leaves are dancing in the flow of the air. This is the state of the poet's mind, this is the imagination of the poet. So likewise, there are waves in the water of the lake, and it is a general sight. We may not catch the special things in these waves, but the poet watching this sight tells that the waves beside them danced. The waves in the lake water, the waves, when the waves are coming, they were going forward, they are going ahead, and to this side the poet tells that the waves are dancing beside the lake, beside the daffodils in the lake water. So the waves beside them danced, but not only the waves are dancing. According to the poet, the waves are dancing, or they danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. At the time of dancing, the waves are sparkling here. So the poet tells that out of joy, out of happiness, the waves are dancing, and outdid these sparkling waves in glee, and out of joy, glee. Joy, happiness. That means the poet tells that the waves are dancing happily, and out of their happiness, they outdid the waves. They surpassed the waves in cheerfulness, in brightness. They surpassed the waves forward. And a poet could not but be gay. And watching this type of joyful moment, this type of joyful sight, no poet can be gay. Not a single poet can upset. And another thing is there, William Wordsworth was a poet of nature. So he can see, he was able to see the waves, but he take it as they were dancing, and they outdid, they surpassed the sparkling waves in a glee, out of joy. Why did he tell the waves sparkling? That means at the time of the waves, they were sparkling also. They were forming new and new waves. And these waves are dancing, he tells. So, such a poet who take the waves as dancing, could he be gay? Could he be upset in front of this scenic beauty? No. So the poet tells also that thing. A poet could not but be gay. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company, in such a jocund company. What do you mean by jocund? Means merry. So what is the jocund company here? Here the poet told this side a jocund company. Which side? The waves are dancing and surpassing their waves out of joy. And the sight of their dance and surpassing their sparkling waves out of joy is known as the jocund company. Is known as the jocund company. So, see, so the poet tells that a poet could not be upset in such a jocund company, in such a moment, in such a happy time with such beautiful sight in front of him. So he tells again that he shared his feelings with us, that by watching this sight he was very much happy, and he tells, I gazed and gazed, but little thought. I gazed and gazed. What do you mean by gaze? An intent look, a continuous look. He was looking at the sight of the daffodils, at that beautiful sight continuously. He was watching that sight, he was enjoying the scenic beauty of the nature. And at the time of gazing, according to him, he gazed and gazed, he gazed and gazed, but little thought. Little thought means there was no thought, there was no another thought in his mind came at the time of gazing the daffodils, at the time of enjoying the scenic beauty of the nature. So, at the time of gazing the beautiful sight, he had no thought in his mind. His mind was completely free from thought. So he tells, I gazed and gazed, but little thought. What wealth the soul to me had brought. According to the poet, what wealth the soul to me had brought. According to the poet William Wordsworth, this sight of the beautiful daffodils and the sparkling waves and surpassing their waves and the beautiful daffodils, the never-ending daffodils, the continuous daffodils which forms a margin along the bay of the lake, and all these beautiful natural sights are the beauty of the nature was very wealthy for him. So why there was no thought, or why there was little thought at the time of gazing at the daffodils? Because this sight, this show was wealthy for the poet. So he tells, I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. That means this show, this sight had brought him lots of wealth. This sight is wealthy for him. So there was no thought in his mind, only he was gazing at the daffodils, He was enjoying the beauty of the nature. He was enjoying the scenic beauty of the nature. And in the last stanza, he also tells his moment of his happiness by remembering this sight in another time. In the fourth stanza, he tells that, for often when my coach I lie in vacant or pensive mood. The poet was enjoying the sight of the beautiful daffodils at the time of their dancing. But according to the poet, all this sight was a beautiful memory for him. And for these beautiful memories, he tells that, for often when I lie on my couch, on his couch, when the poet was lying on his couch lonely, when he was lonely at home, for often, for so many times, in vacant or pensive mood. Here the poet describes two types of mood. One is a vacant mood and another is a pensive mood. Vacant mood means free from thought. And pensive mood is a thoughtful mood. Thoughtful mood. So, in a vacant or pensive mood, that means the poet wants to tell us that he may be in a vacant mood or pensive mood. In both the mood. Either he was in a vacant mood or a pensive mood. But in both the time, often, so many times, when he lies on his couch, they flash upon that inward eye. That means the memory of that beautiful sight of the nature, those live sight of the dancing daffodils, from his memory came alive. So the poet tells that they flash. Here they means the daffodils. Here they means the daffodils, the live daffodils. So they flash upon in my inward eye. Inward, what do you mean by inward eye? Inward eye means in our mind's eye, in our imagination. So the reference is to the picture formed in the mind rather than what the eye sees. One thing we see in our eye and imagine it again means it will come in front of our eyes even if we close our eyes. But another thing we do not see it, but we think it, an imaginary picture will be there in our mind. This is imagination. But inward eye means by watching that beautiful sight of the previous experience from our memory, it comes alive. So, the poet may be in vacant mood or pensive mood. When he lies on his couch, these beautiful daffodils flash upon that inward eye, comes live from his imagination, and then my heart with pleasure fills, according to the poet. Then when these daffodils, the memory of the daffodils, the picture of that beautiful sight came alive, become alive in his inward eye, in his mind's eye, then his heart fills with pleasure. He was very much happy by remembering this sight. By this sight, the flash of this sight made him happy, made him feel pleasure. And at that time, the heart of the poet dances with the daffodils also. In his inward eye, that live sight of the daffodils came alive again, and the daffodils were dancing there. At the time of the daffodils dancing, the poet was happy very much that his heart was dancing with those daffodils. So he tells that then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So by remembering the beautiful sight of the daffodils, they were flashing upon the flashes upon their his inward eye, and his heart fills with pleasure and dances with the daffodils. Okay, got it or not? Guys, this is all about the poem Daffodils. You have to learn, read the text thoroughly and go through your books. If you have any doubts, please contact me. Thank you.